here at 658 Main Street in beautiful downtown Fitchburg.
Well, we're going to be talking to Steve Duvarney, president of the Fay Club.
She's Alice Cardinale.
He's David Janisi.
And this is Forks Over Fitchburg. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself before we get into the Fay Club?
Well, I'm the current president of the Fay Club. This is my second term as president. I was president back in 2008, 2009. And I've enjoyed my second term as president here as we've rebuilt the club and got the club reorganized with a little bit different business model.
And we're in downtown Fitchburg for the folks watching who have never been to the Fay Club. And the Fay Club has a rich history. Can you speak to that history? When was the building built?
Yes. This was built as George Fay's residence in 1883, finished in 1885. And George Fay was a member of what was called the Park Club, which was here on Main Street at Main and Wallace. The Park Club started in 1881 downtown here. In 1910, after George Fay passed away, his daughter Lucy was not going to live and use the house, and she donated this house free and clear to the Park Club with the hopes that they would use it as their clubhouse and in the honor of her dad, who enjoyed the Park Club so much. And in 1910, the Park Club members voted to rename the Park Club to the Fay Club, and they moved over here, and this has been the headquarters for the club, in essence the clubhouse.
If only. I said it when I came in here. I say it probably every time I come in here. I would live here. This is just, I'm always mesmerized every time I come into this place. It's truly just breathtaking.
And we're going to have lunch in the Duvarney room. Fun fact, Alex.
Oh, yes. Fancy that.
Named after, I'm assuming, Steve Duvarney.
Well, my name used to be Smith, but when I saw that there was a Duvarney room, I decided to change my name to Duvarney. So here we are.
There was a time period where the club, we weren't really sure if it was going to survive. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Well, the costs to maintain and run the club were such that there were too few members to spread those costs out over and have the club run and operate profitably. So the membership dwindled, and each time the membership dwindled, we had to go up on the dues even more to try to make up for the members that had left the club and resigned. So it got to the point where it was really an unsustainable business model, and the club at that time, we voted to suspend the operations of the club. And myself and a few others, soon after we voted to suspend the operations of the club, got together and explored a different business model that had 200 to 300 members. And then there was enough activity, potentially, from 200 to 300 members to sustain the club operations on much lower dues. And fortunately, that business model proved to be positive and successful. And we've had the COVID situation that's thrown a little bit of a curveball at us on the function and event side, but we've still been able to maintain the operations of the club.
And I also think it speaks to your vision as a business leader in Fitchburg, and specifically downtown. You're no stranger to downtown Fitchburg, as you own a jewelry store in downtown Fitchburg. So, as you see what's happening now in downtown Fitchburg, what would you say to the economic advancements that are happening? Is it an exciting time to have an establishment in downtown, Fay Club?
I think it's very positive time downtown. There's a lot of things happening. Sometimes those take a little bit longer than people would like to see, but a lot of positive things happening. And to me, with our family's business that's been on the street since 1971, and with the Fay Club, the club has the ability to attract people from all over the North County. The membership is spread out from Athol to Groton and down into the Worcester market. So people travel a half an hour or so to come into Fitchburg. And when we have events, people are coming into the city. We're getting eyes on Main Street from outside of the city. It's, you know, all a positive.
I'm starving, Alex. I don't know if you're hungry.
Well,
but I'm
it is
hungry.
lunchtime, my imaginary watch is telling me.
That's right. So, Steve, we don't know what we're going to have. Could you give us a hint as far as what the chef is going to prepare today?
Well, I know Chef's been toiling in the kitchen for several hours. I think he has his famous onion rings.
Famous
onion rings, yes. Famous in Fay Club standards is limited because of the private membership.
Sure.
Right,
So
right.
something famous here might
Sure.
only be enjoyed by 200 people. But
That's enough people for me to
Exactly.
warrant it being called famous.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
makes the onion rings famous? Are they battered in something special?
they have a very light batter. He won't give his secrets.
Oh.
Very light batter, and he uses a very large onion. And River Styx beer he uses in the batter. So
That's great. So you're also collaborating with local business.
yes, we do our best to collaborate with other local businesses, yes.
I understand that there's more.
There is. I believe he has one of our house-cut tenderloins that he sears and seasons specially, and he also has a new item on the menu this spring, which is a tequila marinated southwestern shrimp.
Oh, so Alex gets the spring special. Look at that.
Yes.
Spring Special, that's going to be my nickname. Can it be my new
Exactly.
nickname?
So Nate is going to take everyone into the kitchens to see what Chef Sean is preparing us. And
Anything's
meanwhile,
possible.
Alex and I are going to go around and interview some of the patrons here at the Fay Club and talk about their experience.
Wonderful. I would encourage you to.
Excellent.
Yes.
Thank
Can't
you,
wait.
Steve.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
My name is Sean Smith. I'm the executive chef of the Fay Club, and today I will be cooking tenderloin, skewered tequila-lime shrimp, and beer-battered onion rings. Start with a 10-ounce tenderloin. We are gonna season kosher salt generously. Add some cracked black pepper. Get our cast iron going. We're gonna use canola oil. Wait for our pan to heat up. We're gonna start with some sides here. And we're gonna use some marble fingerling potatoes, Peruvians, rosettes, and fingerlings. Wait for our pan to come up a little bit. We don't want our pan to get, our tenderloin cold, because basically you'll be steaming the tenderloin. That's no good. You want to get a good sear. That's called the Maillard reaction. Add our fingerlings to our pan. These fingerling potatoes were cooked in duck confit to soften the potato and to get us ready for a sear. Tenderloin, we're going to put pepper side down. That's a good sign. We're going to let that sear for about 3 to 4 minutes to make a nice crust. Cast iron skillet cooks evenly and retains good amount of heat. Back to our fingerling potatoes. So our fingerling potatoes, we're going to put them face down inside where they were cut. And this looks like a healthy portion. So we're going to have a moderate heat until that comes up to get us some decent color. And then we're going to place that in the oven for about, I don't know, 6-7 minutes on 350. Here we have some butter down. We have some marinated 1620 shrimp that have been peeled into vein. They're marinated in garlic, basil, parsley, and olive oil. Moving our potatoes a little bit, we don't want them to stick. And just make sure they're on that cut side so they get a decent sear on them. You don't want them overlapping. Looks like our tenderloin's been taken to the pan pretty well. You don't want to prematurely move the tenderloin, otherwise it can stick. And you don't really want to lift the tenderloin up because that will basically get rid of the crust that you're trying to make. By moving it kind of side to side, building that crust. You can kind of see a little bit of the crust starting to come up. We have some grilled tortillas, and we're just waiting for them to get a little bit of color on them. These will be based with Luna Azul Tequila Blanco, and that will basically be the basting for the shrimp. Looks like our tenderloin is ready to get turned. We want that nice golden brown sear. If it's been too long, more than likely it'll turn gray. That's no good. So side A is obviously beautifully seared. Now it's on to side B. We're gonna give that about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna finish it in the convection oven. Now, fingerlings should be golden brown, a little bit on the sides, on the edges. That's really good. So we're just gonna let that sleep in the oven for a little bit.
Well, it's lunchtime here at the Fay Club, and while our food is being prepared, we figured we would take a little stroll around the room and see if we could connect with some patrons. And we have some beautiful people who are here waiting to talk to us.
Some beautiful people.
Yes. So let's get into it.
So I'm here with Polly Klebachek. Loved you on The Sopranos. What do you think of the Fay Club?
I think this is a great interview already, Ovi. I'll tell you, the club's awesome. I'm glad to be a member here. Great people, great food, great atmosphere, great interviews, great company.
We've got some salads on the table here. Love it. No, that's a great way to start a meal, or have as a meal if it's lunchtime. So, Mrs. Bogdasarian, how you doing today? Mr. Bogdasarian, Dr. Bogdasarian. So I know you folks are longstanding members of the Fay Club here. How long have you been members?
Thinking about that, I think probably about 35 years or so we've been members.
More than that.
More than that. 40 years, sorry.
40 years? Yeah, excellent.
So anybody who knows about the Fay Club and who has been to the Fay Club has seen this lovely woman running around, really working her tail off. And we're here with Leslie. And Leslie, how are you doing today?
Very well today.
So Leslie, what do you do here at the Fay Club?
So I am the bar manager. I attend bar, I manage the bar, and then I do whatever else I can in here. I've given the history for a long time. I've waited on these people for a long time. I love it. I serve, I do whatever I have to in here.
And what's some of your favorite dishes here? What do you like to get?
Oh, wow. So for lunch, I'm a big fan of the tuna melt that Chef Sean does. The salads are amazing. Portion sizes are very good. For dinner, I'm a big steak guy, so that always works. Steak, glass of red wine.
What are we having for lunch today? I see a salad. Doctor, are you having anything?
I had a tuna fish sandwich and it's gone already.
Ah,
And,
all right.
It was great. I think the food here is wonderful, and there's something for everyone, and it's reasonably priced too.
Yes, and you come with your family a lot.
We do,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why don't you talk about the history of the Fay Club? Because from everyone that we've talked to, they say, talk to Leslie. Leslie knows a lot of the history.
I've been here for since the furniture came in, that's why.
How long have you been a member?
I've been a member here for the past 2 years, I would say, and very humbled to be on the board of directors as well for the club.
The Fay Club is very inclusive. I think it's had the reputation of not being that way, of being kind of exclusive, but they let me in, so it's got to be inclusive. And I think it's wonderful. We'd like to have more members, so we welcome anyone who might want to join and participate. We have many good events, and we have wonderful food.
They started building this in 1883 and they finished it in 1885. Imagine that, just 2 years. Everything's done by hand. The pocket doors slide like they're on butter still. Everything was built to last a long, long time.
Yes, and one thing we were talking about is the community feel that you do have here at the Fay Club, and the community table, which is, I think we're seeing that in action right here. Isn't that true?
Yeah, I think any time you come for dinner, you're going to encounter people you know, and you'll also have opportunity to make new friends. But it's like a big extended family, so it's wonderful that way. Again, it's a very welcoming place, and I want to thank you guys for including us in the program that you're doing. It's wonderful that you're featuring us.
Thank you.
Okay.
You are so awkward.
Now we're gonna start our demi-glace. We're gonna use some cold chicken stock. Demi-glace, which is half brown stock, half Espanol, reduced down to about half. Adding the chicken stock it dilutes the demi-glace and also makes the viscosity of the sauce thinner without losing the flavor. We're gonna put that on low heat. And now with our tenderloin, pop this guy in for about, let's say, 5 minutes. For about 2 minutes on our shrimp. Stir, stir, stir with your your demi-glace. We also, over here, we have our beer-battered onion rings. Only use River Stick beer. Local brewery right down the street. So we have our shrimp right here. So we're going to put our shrimp right onto our slaw. We're going to put our tortillas right here. Garnish that with a little bit of lime and some lemon. We're going to use a little bit of our pico on the top, some acid, some acidic. We have our cotija cheese right over the top. Chipotle aioli, scallions, fresh, of course. And that is our skewered Tequila-Lime Shrimp. We're going to start our vegetable for the tenderloin dish. Use a little bit of butter. We're going to take some noodle zucchini right into the pan. A little bit of salt. We don't want to go too hard on the pan and sear our vegetable. We're going for more contrast than anything else. So for our tenderloin, we're going for a warm center. That feels about right. We're going to let that rest. And we're going to get back to our vegetables. Add some shaved asparagus. Add some broccoli. Again, our vegetables more for contrast. So we're going to add some shaved carrot. Earthy tones, earthy tones. A little bit more salt. And over here we have our onion rings, the exterior nice and crispy. Humongous, obviously. Add a little bit of herbs over the top of it. And a side of blue cheese dipping sauce. We have our fingerling potatoes. And as you can see, beautifully golden brown. That's what we're going for. Our sauce, the viscosity is absolutely tremendous. That's exactly what we're going for. We're going to shut this guy off. And we're going to start plating. Get our earth tones right here. Mother Nature's the artist, I'm merely the mechanic. Tenderloin over the top. Base with some demi-glace. Herbs. Truffle oil. And that is our cast iron tenderloin. Alright, we have our skewered Tequila-Lime Shrimp with our, starting from top to bottom I guess, with our cotija cheese, our pico de gallo, skewered shrimp obviously. We have underneath that is our slaw, which has corn, black bean, knock jam. Then we have our lemon lime and our griddled tortilla. Over here from top to bottom, we have our house-made demi-glace, our cast iron seared tenderloin, our roasted marble fingerling potatoes, and our vegetables. And then we have our crispy beer-battered onion rings with a blue cheese dipping sauce.
Can't get enough Forks Over Fitchburg? Be sure to like our Facebook page for additional content and news on future episodes. You just never know where we'll be heading next.
Okay, so we just received our meals, and my goodness gracious, I mean, they're too pretty to eat almost.
It's a work of art.
Yes.
These onion rings,
They're donuts.
you can see these coming a mile away.
Onion rings on steroids.
Oh
yes.
my gosh.
And it's a mountain. Like get into the height, the depth of the pile of onion rings that we were just presented.
Well, I mean, portion size too. I think that should be noted because this is clearly a lot of food.
Yeah.
And I think if you take a look around, someone might assume you're going to get a plate that you need a magnifying glass to see the entree. But it doesn't seem that we'll be leaving here hungry.
You will not.
Yeah.
for sure.
All I have to say is Maron, Alex. Maron.
Yes, like
I
I
mean-
second that, Maron. Yes.
I don't even want to.
You don't want to cut into it, right?
I do want to cut into it.
I mean, but if you do, though. You do.
I do.
Yeah, you know.
I do.
By all means.
You know, and I got to, and like I said, I feel bad. I feel like you should have, like I said, give the man a salad or something, a little mescaline.
Well,
I feel
my
so.
meal will come later. I just enjoy being a host.
Oh, well, that's great. Well, thank you for hosting us. This
Yeah.
is, I mean,
welcome.
This is ambiance. I mean,
Yes.
you know, I mean, that you really, if you want ambiance, this is the place to come.
Absolutely.
You know, I was just saying, I could just sit here and just look around for probably a very long time.
Many people
without,
do.
Without eating. I'm sure they do. I mean, it really is, it's breathtaking.
So, as the president, do you have a favorite meal, or is every meal your favorite?
Every meal's my favorite.
There you go,
Chef
good
does a
answer.
great job, and I don't have one go-to over another.
Well, you
So
let me know how
let's-
that is,
I will, and
obviously.
get into the nice. There's just a touch of pink. Very
That's
good.
how it should be done.
That's how it should be done.
Yes, yes.
Cooked to perfection.
And it's already. I can already tell it's juicy to the touch.
Yep.
Just how you want it. So let's get a piece
I'm
of.
going to let you take the first bite.
I'm gonna take the first bite.
I think I will. Yeah, well, you got steak, you know.
Excellent.
Great.
Excellent.
Well-
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
We
Nice
start
here.
with the freshest of ingredients. Chef cuts the meats in-house.
Oh.
And so, you know, it's as good as it can get.
And that's important to know too, because
It almost
that
kind
keeps
of
it fresher.
melts in your mouth too,
As it should.
as you bite into it. I mean, that's exactly how a steak should be done.
Yep. Well, I'm taking the tequila shrimp. I hope, you know, I haven't eaten today, so I hope the tequila doesn't hit me. Oh yeah, as I knew. First thing to note with the shrimp too, it's not rubbery, so you know it's not been overcooked. Tastes very fresh. That cream sauce on there, that is bright. That just hits you as soon as you take that first bite. Excellent. You know what I like on shrimp too that was done here? There's a little bit, like I said, it's a delicate balance, not overcooked, but it's got a nice, almost semi-crust to it. That's a hard thing to pull off.
Yeah.
Very good.
Is it setting it off for you?
It is setting it off. It is off to the races. Yes.
Good,
Delicious. I mean, and you know what? I can't anymore. I'm trying one of these onion rings.
Go right ahead. Don't let them get cold.
I mean, I don't think it's possible to look dainty or ladylike while eating an onion ring. Do you want
Ladies
to?
first.
Do you want to dip first? Oh gosh, yeah. This is gonna be. I
No
mean,
double
Not
dipping.
ladylike, but it's okay.
it's not gonna be ladylike at all. But you know, I'll suffer for my art. I'm getting some garlic there. Oh yeah, that's top notch. It's not. This is what I appreciate. It's not super bready. You know, sometimes
Very light.
wicked light.
Very light.
You don't feel like you're biting into a piece of bread with a tint, you know, a little tint of onion. This is onion with just a very nice light. I mean, that's like barely anything, but it's crispy and it's flavorful.
So, how often do you change your menu around? You know, I'm sure you have your staples that always say on the menu.
We do. We have a handful of staples that are on the menu year-round. We change the menu seasonally, so, you know, 4 general menu changes a year, and then chef supplements, you know, a few featured items in weekly, you know, depending on what he's able to acquire and, you know, for something that's fresh or unique. So we try to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
And what are some of the popular dishes?
Well, the club generally are meat eaters. You know, it just seems to be that a lot of people gravitate to the beef.
I can't see why they would want to
Yeah.
come and have this.
I have no
Yes,
idea.
exactly. But we do salmon. We certainly sell a lot of salmon, and a good mix of everything, really.
Someone comes in here and they'd like to have lunch. Do we need to be a member? Can you just come in?
It is a private club still.
Right.
So membership is required. If somebody is interested in trying out the club, if they're thinking about membership, we always will accommodate somebody to be able to come in for lunch or dinner to try out the club. But it is chartered as a private club, so yes, if you were going to come in on a regular basis, you need to be a member.
So, can you speak to being a member of the Fay Club? What are some of the benefits of being a member? What do you get to
Well,
participated?
you have the use of the club. So if you have an event for your family or for your business and you want to entertain people here, part of your membership, entitles you to usage of the club. And obviously for dining, lunch or dinner, and attending, we have quite a few special events that are geared to the members, either a wine pairing dinner or a Christmas brunch with Santa, things like that. The holidays, we have some nice brunches for those.
And I saw you just had an Easter.
We did. We had
event.
a very nice Easter brunch. Yes. So those are part of the privileges of membership. And as well, the club has a fairly good list of other reciprocal clubs that are like the Fay Club in New England and around the country, that if you're traveling or if you're in Boston or Worcester, you can use the reciprocal clubs on your membership at the Fay Club.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's very good to know.
That
For
is good to
instance,
know.
in Boston, there's the Union Club, which is right near the State House.
Mm-hmm.
In Worcester, locally, we have the Worcester Club, and in Andover, we have the Lanham Club. So there's 3 clubs locally here in Massachusetts that our members have access to if they're traveling or
wow.
on business somewhere. Yes.
I think
That's great.
that definitely provides a fairly strong incentive if you can use it elsewhere to
Yes.
kind of parlay it. That's great.
Exactly.
And I can definitely speak to like the Santa brunch. I've taken my daughter, I've gone with my family several times. I always look forward to that. Oh my gosh, was that fun. And you guys just do everything. Everything's just perfect every time I've come to that. Really. The Santa showing up and you can take a picture with your family, and the Christmas carols, and obviously the food is wonderful. Once again, kind of a setup where it's so beautiful you almost don't even want to take any. Everything's just set up so nicely. But one thing I always felt when I came to that event was a very strong sense of community in that room. I mean, obviously, Fitchburg is a city, but I always feel like it does feel like a town sometimes.
Yes.
If you've been around for long enough, a lot of people.
Right.
And when we came to that brunch, there was always someone here we knew, probably several people here we knew. And it almost felt like you were spending a part of the holidays, you were with your community. And that was something I always loved about it. It
Yes.
just felt very homey.
Yes, and that's part of the atmosphere of the club, that's integral to the fabric of the club. This club that goes back to 1881 in Fitchburg, has been a part of the community, and the members have been a very active part of the community over the decades, and that's something that we want to keep and maintain.
Steve, is there anything that you want the viewers to know about the Fay Club that we haven't already touched already?
Well, anybody can go to the Fay Club's website, thefayclub.com, for history of the club and a little more information on the club and membership. We're here trying to maintain and support this building that's been on the National Registry of Historic Places since the 1970s. And part of the mission of the club is to maintain this historic building. So, your membership and support of the club and dining here also helps support this club and maintain the building.
Well, Steve, thank you very much for sitting down and talking with us this afternoon. This has been a real treat. I feel so fancy today.
And I need to do some serious damage off camera to the rest of this. So
I mean, I would hope so. You
Yeah.
can't let a fillet just sit there.
No,
I mean, that's
no.
a crime.
I'm letting everybody know watching that I'm not wimping out with this fillet. I'm doing it off camera.
I wouldn't expect anything less. So again, we're here from the Fay Club, speaking with Steve Duvarney, who we very much appreciate your time and letting us come into this beautiful establishment in the city of Fitchburg. And with that, we would just like to say to you,
Remember that there's always life, liberty.
and the prosciutto of happiness.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.